You put up with the golf drop tonight. Put up with the golf drop.
Are you a golfer?
Yeah, sort of. Not much.
What did you play in my tournament?
About $75.
It's cheap compared to everything else.
Didn't think he played golf.
You can make a lot of money. I can't believe I play golf. I used to play a lot.
Yeah, she won't play at all with me.
So, morning?
Yeah. She was an All-American swimmer.
Really?
God. Oh, goodness. You want that with me?
What's that?
Huh?
Oh, really?
Dove hunt, deer hunt.
Carol would not do that to me. What did I do to you? Carol's shoved up under. No. Somebody did. I knew Carol wasn't doing it. No. Yeah.
A little bit after 7. Apologize for being late, but we'll convene our city council. Mayor Euchert is out of town representing us in D.C., visiting our federal elected officials, so I have the honor of filling in for him tonight. First item, first thing to, I guess, announce quorum is present, and we'll have our invocation given by Councilman Thornhill, and then the pledge to the American and Texas flags by Lori Kunke and Girl Scout Troop 197.
If you would, bow your heads for prayer, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight with our heads bowed and our hearts open and give thanks for the many blessings that you've bestowed in our lives. We give thanks for our city and its leaders and its volunteers, its public officials, its staff. We ask that you watch over the people that protect those freedoms, both here at home and abroad. And we give thanks for the blessings that you will give us tonight as we make our decisions and make the best decisions we can for our city, and that they're pleasing in your sight. We ask this prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Thank you, girls, for leading us. Let's give them a hand. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the consideration of items relating to the May 8th, 2010 City of Louisville general election. First will be the canvass of the election returns for the City Council general election. The Secretary.
I'll read the results from early voting and Election Day and the totals. For City Council place number 4, Thomas T.J. Gilmore received 573 votes for early voting, 379 for Election Day, for a total of 952 votes. John Garena received 697 early votes and 331 votes on Election Day, for a total of 1,028 votes. For City Council place number 5, Rudy Durham received 1,050 votes for early voting, 577 votes for Election Day, for a total of 1,627 votes.
We'll now move on to consideration of a resolution declaring the results of the City Council election. So I need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Councilman Thornhill, would you like to speak?
Second. Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We now move to presentation of the certificates by myself, and then the oath of office given by our municipal court judge, Brian Holman. So we're going to have... do this. This is to certify that John Garina at the general election held in the city of Louisville, Texas, on the 8th day of May 2010, by virtue of having received a majority of the votes cast, has been elected councilman, place number 4 of the city of Louisville, Texas, and was on the 17th day of May 2010 certified by a canvass of the vote by the city council of the city of Louisville, Texas. Now, therefore, by reason of the provisions of the city charter and ordinances of the city of Louisville, Texas, you are hereby notified to qualify as the law directs for the said office of councilman, place number 4, city of Louisville, and therefore to enter upon the discharge of your duties in accordance with the law in such cases made and provided. With the hand and seal of the city of Louisville, the 17th day of May 2010. It does have the actual mayor's signature, not mine. This is to certify that Rudy Durham at the general election held in the city of Louisville, Texas on the 8th day of May 2010, by virtue of having received a majority of the votes cast, has been elected councilman, place number 5 of the city of Louisville, Texas, and was on the 17th day of May 2010 certified by a canvass of the vote by the city council of the city of Louisville, Texas. Now, therefore, by reason of the provisions of city charter and ordinances of the city of Louisville, Texas, you are hereby notified to qualify as the law directs for said office of councilman, place number 5, the city of Louisville, and therefore to enter upon the discharge of your duties in accordance with the law in such cases made and provided. Witness the hand and seal of the city of Louisville, the 17th day of May, 2010. Congratulations. I'll turn it over to Judge Holman to get you sworn in.
Hey, gentlemen, you'll just stand over here, Councilman. Each of you will please raise your right hand. I, please state your name. If you'll please repeat after me, pardon me, please. I,
John Garina. Rudy Durham.
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of,
the duties of the office
and then state your place,
place number 5 on the city council,
of the city of Louisville,
city of Louisville,
state of Texas,
state of Texas,
and will,
and will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
and the charter and ordinances of this city.
and the charter and ordinances of this city.
And I furthermore solemnly swear
And I furthermore solemnly swear
that I have not directly or indirectly
that I have not directly or indirectly
paid, offered, or promised to pay,
paid, offered, or promised to pay,
contributed, nor promised to contribute
contributed, or promised to contribute
any money or valuable thing,
any money or valuable thing,
or promised any public office or employment
or promised any public office or employment
as a reward
as a reward
for the giving or withholding of a vote
for the giving or withholding of a vote
at the election at which I was elected.
at the election at which I was elected.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I just think
Yeah, I was wondering if...
Next, we have some presentations. For the first one, I'm going to call on Police Chief Carbo to come up and make this presentation for us.
You know, we talk a whole lot at the police department about people getting involved and being our community partners, and many times that's Neighborhood Crime Watch or it's Citizen Police Academy and the Alumni Association. But on occasion, we have a few citizens who will jump out there and do something really, truly heroic. So we get a chance to celebrate one of those events tonight. Would Mr. Kevin Elias please come forward? Kevin? Stand up here while I embarrass you. On February 3rd, 2010, at approximately 6:40 a.m., Ms. Karen Sutherland, and I believe she's here in the audience today. Karen, would you, there, thank you. She was out walking her dog, Scooby, in the 800 block of Pinnacle Circle. She heard a noise coming from the backyard of one of the houses and saw a full-grown Akita breaking through a picket fence and coming at her. So she scooped up Scooby on the hopes of protecting him. When she bent over to do that, the dog attacked her and bit her, and she required some corrective surgery from the injuries she sustained in that whole event. Mr. Elias, hearing her yelling for help, asked his wife to please call the police, and he went outside without regard for his own safety, tackled the dog and held it for about 27 minutes until the animal control folks could show up. You know, now obviously these are things that we wouldn't expect people to do or recommend you do, but people often step up and they do the right thing for the right reason, and we want to celebrate that with Mr. Elias today. And he was talking to the newspaper. He said, you know, I don't consider myself a hero, but in fact, Kevin, that's what heroes are made of. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
The next presentations are involving our teen court. So we'll have everybody that's involved in those come on there. Let's start off recognizing our adult volunteers. These volunteers have given their time on a regular basis to help the teen court run smoothly. They assist with the juror and bailiff assignments, fill in for master jury judges in emergencies, and conduct exit interviews. They assist the teen court coordinator wherever they are needed. Without these volunteers and their dedication, teen court would not be able to function. These individuals have been a vital part of the teen court for the City of Louisville and Flower Mound. For all of their efforts, time, and continued involvement in our program, we sincerely thank them. I have our Francis Yonkers. Here, I'll show you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Mr. Alan Perry. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tim, did you want a picture of these or all of them together? Okay. Slide this way and you can get it all. Thank you. Next are our graduating teen court volunteers. I would like to honor the 2010 graduating teen court volunteers with certificates of appreciation. These young people have given their time, talents, and energy to serve as attorneys, jurors, bailiffs, and judges for the Louisville Flower Mound Teen Court. Through their efforts, they have helped their peers by holding them accountable and showing them how their choices affect our entire community. We appreciate their hard work and dedication to the city. George Corona. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Julian Rodriguez. Congratulations. Thank you. Jerry Ferguson. Thank you. John Maxon. Preeti Sarankath. I apologize if I butchered that. Thank you for your service. We'd also like to recognize the following individuals for their outstanding participation in the teen court program. Preeti Sarankath, Jeremy Scroggs, and John Maxon. Jeremy Scroggs is not here due to the fact that this is his high school graduation tonight. He's previously occupied. Let's give these kids a hand. Each year, the City of Louisville honors a teen court volunteer who exemplifies not only outstanding academic achievements, but also a willingness to serve his or her community through dedicated community involvement. The funds from the Louisville Flower Mound Teen Court Scholarship come from jurors in a municipal court who choose to donate their juror pay for this scholarship. This year was particularly difficult deciding who the recipient of the scholarship should be. But now the City Council and I are very pleased to announce the winner of this $1,000 scholarship, the deserving senior and this year's recipient, is Jerry Ferguson.
Thank you very much.
Let me just tell you a little bit about him. Jerry has served on the teen court since his sophomore year. He has favored serving as a defense attorney and has embraced the opportunity to help many teens get a second chance for mistakes they've made. Jerry will graduate from Louisville High School and plans on attending the University of Texas at Arlington his freshman year and proceed to UT Austin to work on his undergraduate degree. He also plans to continue his education further at graduate school, plans to pursue a career in business. He credits the Teen Court program for the opportunities to engage in public speaking and enhance skills toward becoming a motivational speaker. Jerry plans to join a company after school and represent them internationally. We wish the best to Jerry. Honored to present him this award and honored to have all of you as members of our community. Thank you for what you've done. Next we have a presentation. I'm going to call Jack Schultz and Cindy Haney from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality to come down and make this presentation for us.
Cindy and I are, Cindy's back here in the back. Cindy and I are from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, and we are members of the Texas Optimization Program's core team. We try to get water treatment plants around the state and encourage them to produce water that is of higher quality than is required by minimum state and federal rules. The importance of this is not something that the citizens of this community are going to recognize because the water is going to look exactly the same. But by achieving these high levels of performance, they provide an additional 10-fold to somewhere maybe 50 or 60-fold improvement in the quality of water that's produced to the customers and reduces the public health risk of getting contaminated drinking water. I want to impress upon you how difficult it is to do this. We've got 435 treatment plants in Texas. 13 of them are participating in the voluntary program that the city participates in. Of those, 12 have been recognized at some point in the process, and 5 have achieved this award for 5 consecutive years. Okay?
In order to get a recognition award at all, a little certificate from us, you've got to produce water that has turbidity levels that are only 1/10. Turbidity is the cloudiness of the water. That's only 1/10 of the levels that's required by minimum state and federal rules. You have to do this not just from the treatment plant, but from every filter at the water treatment plant, every hour of every day of every week for 6 consecutive months. 12 plants in Texas have done this. You guys have done it every day for 5 consecutive years. It's phenomenal, the level of performance you've gotten. And it would not be possible without a commitment by both city management and the plant staff and the engineers who designed a facility that's capable of achieving this level of performance. But I want to commend, we came up here from Austin to commend the council members and the plant staff for committing to this voluntary program and for achieving this level of performance. And we brought one of only 5 certificates that have ever been issued for a 5-year award, and we wanted to replace your flag that's kind of weather-worn. So we've got another flag to fly at the water treatment plant for you guys to fly at the plant for you. So. Here's your plaque.
I hand this to the people who earned it, folks that do this day in and day out, like you said. It is, a lot of people take for granted when they turn on the faucet and water's coming out and it's clean and it's healthy. These are the people who make that happen. They're the people who make this happen. And it's a great honor to serve on the council on a city that has a staff like we do. And these folks don't get a lot of recognition. But they're the reason that this stuff happens. When you turn the faucet on and you have clean, healthy water, these are the people who make that happen. They've done it.
5 years.
5 straight years of even above and beyond what they're required to do by the state.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Next on the agenda is a continued public hearing, consideration of an ordinance for zone change request from specific use district landfill to specific use district landfill, and 2 variances to the Louisville City Code on a 337.268 acre tract located at 801 East College Street, further identified as Louisville Landfill Addition Lot 1, Block A, as requested by Louisville Landfill TX LP, the property owner. Case number PNZ 2009-0909. This item's been continued several times to give the applicant time to respond to concerns raised about the delay in completing College Street and Valley Ridge Boulevard. Since the April 5th meeting, the contractor has substantially completed the concrete work. A punch list, minor grading, cleanup, as-built plans, and bonds remain. Specific use zoning is unique since any substantial changes to the site plan require that zoning to be reapplied for. The landfill is proposing to relocate their scale house facilities within the site and is adding a new office and maintenance building. They're also proposing to build a new haul road on-site parallel to Valley Ridge Boulevard that will allow them longer stacking length without having to have trucks queue in the street and blocking traffic. An engineering site plan has been submitted and reviewed by staff. There are 2 variances being requested to the GDO, including one to waive the building exterior requirement of 80% brick or stone, and second to allow 40-foot wide driveway width along Valley Ridge Boulevard when 35 feet is the maximum allowed by ordinance. Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the zoning request on a vote of 6-0 at their September 1, 2009 meeting. The recommendation is that the council approve the proposed specific use zoning as set forth in the caption above. Councilman Durham?
We have
to close the hearing first.
If there's no one here, I move to close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is closed. We now need to move on the item itself.
I moved approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Durham, second by Councilman Guerrero.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Louisville, Texas, that amends the zoning ordinance of the City of Louisville, Texas, granting zoning changes on the 337.27-acre tract of land fully and completely described in the attached Exhibit A, ordering a change in the use of said property from specific use landfill district zoning to specific use landfill district zoning, correcting the official zoning map, preserving all other portions of the zoning ordinance, providing a clause relating to severability, determining that the public interest and general welfare demand a zoning change and amendment therein made, providing a penalty, and declaring an emergency.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is our visitor citizens forum. At this time, any person with business before the council not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the council. No formal action can be taken on these items at this meeting. And I don't believe we have anyone who's filled out a card. So we'll move on to the consent agenda. Before we move on to the consent agenda, I do have a card filled out by Joanne Benson. Ms. So you don't want to speak on that particular item? Okay. Then I will entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Guerrero, second by Councilman Thornhill. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the regular hearings, item number 7, consideration of a request to establish a mid-block crosswalk on Garden Ridge Boulevard, approximately 600 feet south of Main Street, as requested by the Evergreen at Louisville, located at 415 South Garden Ridge Boulevard. Staff received a request from Evergreen at Louisville in October 2009 for a mid-block crosswalk on Garden Ridge across an existing median opening. Staff took this item before the Transportation Board on January 19, 2010, and upon hearing resident support and staff concerns for safety, the Transportation Board tabled the item and directed staff to provide additional information. The Transportation Board reconsidered this item at their April 20, 2010 meeting. Staff provided the additional information as requested and other options, including a signalized pedestrian crossing. After considering the option, the Transportation Board vote ended in a split decision of 3-3. One member was absent at both January and April meetings. The staff recommendation is that the council deny the request to establish the mid-block crosswalk. And I would like Kumar from the city staff to come up and kind of go over what we heard a little bit about in the workshop session on this item.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, Council, I've got a little presentation about the background of this issue. This request from the residents of Evergreen came through Councilman John Guerrero to staff. Routinely, such requests are handled by staff and obviously discouraged due to safety concerns. Some of the examples include Bassford Manor Apartments, which is across from the Louisville Bazaar, and they wanted to have a mid-block cross to get to Louisville Bazaar from their apartments, direct access. Another request came from some residents that lived on the east side of Valley Parkway to cross the median opening that is directly across from the senior center. There is a driveway out there across the median. Another one that came to staff was residents from the Valley Ridge Apartments across from Coles, east of Summit Avenue. There have been others, we just didn't list them There have been requests on Corporate Drive, but none of these obviously have any crossings marked in the mid-block. The Evergreen request was sent to Transportation Board pursuant to Councilman Guarina's request for council review. This is our standard practice prior to council consideration to obtain the Transportation Board Committee's input and recommendations. Kevin Nims from my staff, who's helping me with the PowerPoint, has actually presented this item to the Transportation Board, both at the January 19th and the April 20 meetings. The city's guidelines for pedestrian crosswalks is basically followed under this criteria. Signalized intersections. The signalized intersections provide protected crossings for pedestrians. The motorists anticipate and expect pedestrian activity there. Signals are programmed for pedestrian clearance. We do give time for the walking process across the intersection. They have their own clearance time. This is a normal behavior on the part of the motorists, and it's a recognized application. And it's a 24-hour basis, and so it's nothing surprising. The second guideline and second criteria we use is where we have a street four-way intersection or a three-way stop control where the signals are not warranted yet. This is, again, all the motorists stop. They expect pedestrian activity at street intersections, routine behavior. Again, this is a 24-hour basis. The third one that we follow is the school crossings with crossing guard control. Motorists are already in a school warning zone with flashing beacons. Speed limits are reduced to 20 miles an hour. The motorists anticipate and expect children crossing under crossing guard supervision. And obviously this only happens during the school hours. These three criteria we have followed throughout our city policy, has been throughout the tenure that I have been here for 24 years. And these are based on the Federal Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. This is the national standard for traffic control devices. All states and cities and most everybody adopts it. And if you deviate from it, from any of the standards, you have to have a supporting engineering study. And more often than not, it's difficult to do a study that's non-compliant unless you're absolutely sure. And the next 2 or 3 slides are primarily existing conditions in the city of Louisville of mid-block marked crosswalks. And as you go through that, just about every one of them on that is within a school zone.
So none of those that are currently in existence are outside of those 3 criteria that you just mentioned that you've used before?
Yes, sir. The first slide obviously is all school zones. There's the next one is on Old Orchard. Again, this is one of those hike and bike trail mid-block crossings that serve the community with hike and bike trail linkage and continuity. And they're usually located where there is no traffic conflict, as a median opening would. The next slide also has another set of mid-block crossings, primarily all within a school zone. No, go back to 12. As you can see, out of the 17 crosswalks, there are 11 crosswalks that are in school zones. One of those will be removed at the end of the school year, and this is by the high school. Actually, the principal of the high school wanted that removed this year. And I think at the request of PD, we let it go through the end of the school year. And sometime in summer, it'll be taken out. And there are 4 crosswalks for hike and bike trails. And obviously, as I had mentioned, the hike and bike trails are linked for continuity.
The one that the school asked to be removed, that's the one on Valley, is that
Yes,
correct?
It's just south of Main Street. There's one, and nobody ever crosses at that crosswalk. I think the high school children just jaywalk across the median, just wherever they want to go.
But it's in a similar, I guess, situation to the one that's proposed, because it's just south of Main. There is a crosswalk, and the school actually asked for that one to be removed, correct?
Yes, sir.
What's the distance from Main Street from the school, from Main Street at the school on Valley?
I
300
really
feet?
don't have it, but that's the first median opening south of there, so I really don't have a
I was
distance
just
on
wondering.
that. The next one. The Transportation Board meetings and actions, obviously this request came sometime last October. So the first Transportation Board that was held was in January of this year. We took the item to the Transportation Board. As I had indicated, Kevin had presented this item to the Transportation Board, and our recommendation was to deny the request simply for safety purposes. There was a lot of discussion at the Transportation Board, and they couldn't make up their minds, so they directed staff to go back and do a U-turn count and get some additional information on pedestrian movements and perhaps some alternatives. At the April 20th meeting, we did present the results. Kevin actually did a 9-hour U-turn movement count on March 26th. The total pedestrian count for a 9-hour was only 10, and out of that, there were 2 from the Evergreen complex. The U-turn counts exceeded 250. The majority of the U-turns were southbound and going northbound. That was about 238. A lot of activity in that median. The other options we looked at as requested were to see what are the costs associated with going from a bare minimum crosswalk, which is just to paint some lines and add a couple of markings and signage. That costs about $2,000. Another option is to have the same crosswalks, marking signage, and have a continuous flashing beacon, which is like a school zone flashing beacon, which operates 24/7, unlike a school where the school it only operates in the school zone hours. That was estimated about $8,000. Another one looked at was a pedestrian-activated flashing beacon, which would be just kind of like a strobe light that puts out a light for the oncoming traffic to stop. I don't know if there is a warning, advanced warning. All it does is just a flashing beacon. It's like a strobe light. That was about a $12,000 cost. One of the high-end crosswalks is called a Hawk device. It's a signalized pedestrian crosswalk. It's pretty new in the market, so it's pretty expensive, about $85,000 to $100,000. And we don't know what kind of maintenance we need on that because we've never done one in the city. And after the Transportation Board meeting, we looked at another option, which is an offset crosswalk away from the median opening with another continuous flashing beacon at a cost of about $13,000. This is the high-end signal alternative, which is the Hawk device. As I see that picture, I don't think it is at a median opening. It is away from a driveway. It seems like it's just some wood block. One of the things that they suggest in this, the application for this device is that it needs to be at least 100 feet from all driveways to remove side street and U-turn conflicts, which in this particular case is a lot of U-turn conflicts, so it needs to be at least 100 feet away from there. Again, as I indicated, we have never done this, and at this time, the city really doesn't have any funding for these types of improvements. The next slide is another option we looked at, which is just to move away from driveway to driveway in the middle of the median opening. It's just a schematic which would provide a mid-block crossing, construct compliant ADA ramps. That'd be about $13,000 with flashing beacons again. Our final analysis from a staff perspective is that this mid-block crossing is really not warranted. The number of pedestrians was, and again, we can only go by the day we counted the pedestrian activity, it was 10, and only 2 from the Evergreen complex. The U-turns counted, obviously, is 250, and we know what these U-turns are doing. They go southbound and make a U-turn to go to the daycare center just north of Evergreen, and I think to the McDonald's restaurant on the corner there. These median openings are primarily designed for vehicular movements, not for pedestrian activity. Non-intersections, marked crossings are generally unexpected by the road users. This is the traffic control devices are nationally recognized for compliance, for uniformity. You deviate from that, you're causing a little uncertainty on the road user. The installation of the Hawk devices are approximately $100,000. As I indicated, it's just about as cost of a traffic signal. Garden Ridge traffic is approximately 14,000 average daily traffic, and this is based on our 2008 counts. It's highly likely that it will go up greater than 14,800. The posted speed limit is 40 miles an hour. And when we reconstructed Garden Ridge, the existing median opening across from the Evergreen was really provided for the Tompton delivery trucks. They already had that driveway at the time when we rebuilt the roadway. And when we rebuilt the roadway, the road was jointly shared by both City of Louisville and Flower Mound. There is a slide after this one where you'll notice that there are no mid-block crossings, even across the residential city streets that have existed since 1970s. Carnation Drive, Barbara Drive, and Camellia Drive have a lot more folks that are served by those streets. Marked crosswalks approved at mid-block median openings outside of the current city guidelines will set a precedent. And finally, City Council and staff will have difficulty with similar future requests.
Any questions for Kumar?
Yes.
Council? I do have 2 speaker cards filled out on this item. Linda Bruce. Would please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Linda Bruce. I live at 415 South Garden Ridge Boulevard in Louisville. This is a 264-unit senior complex, and about close to half of those residents do not have motor vehicles to get around. They use those little electric scooters and then electric chairs to go from the apartment complex over to Tom Thumb and to the bank and other businesses in the area. It's quite dangerous because these are elderly people. Some of them are in their 80s and 90s, and they have to use their scooters and chairs for transportation. Without a crosswalk from our driveway at Evergreen over to the driveway provided for Tom Thumb, these people take a chance every day to get across the street because of the vehicular traffic. And a lot of those are U-turns. We've had 2 accidents involving U-turns this year at that intersection. And we've had 1 accident coming out of the Tom Thumb driveway onto Garden Ridge. And that was very, there were a lot of injuries from that accident. What we're trying to do is protect our elderly people. I'm not that elderly yet, but one of these days I will be, and you will be too. And you would want to protect your parents, mother, father, brothers, sisters, whatever, from hazardous situations. And the cars going down Evergreen, Garden Ridge, posted speed limit is 40. They don't always follow that rule, as you well know. They're going to go 10 miles over that a lot of times. Well, these people get clearance from one side of the street, they get to the middle where the median is, and they have to wait in the middle of the street before they can get across to the other side. And if there's somebody making a U-turn, they're sitting there in the middle of that intersection, which is actually next to a curb. They're still in danger of being hit. And we just want to protect our community members and those people that we have come to love just by living there. And we strongly ask that you consider just a striped crosswalk. There's already a left turn only sign, which is not followed most of the time, and just put up a no U-turn sign. And that's at the intersection. There's already one there. We just ask that you put up a no U-turn sign. That shouldn't cost any $10,000, $100,000 just to change a sign. The post is already there. I have no more to say, and I sure hope that you take this into consideration, that we want to protect our people and our fellow citizens in that community. 264 units. Some of them are single dwellings, and some of them we have 2 people living in them. And it's quite dangerous for them. We don't want any of them killed because of lack of consideration on your part. If you would please help us, we would appreciate it.
Could I ask just one question?
Yes.
You described exactly my feelings about the danger of this road. Why can't you just go up to the red light and cross with the...
That's just as dangerous because you have people turning left on green lights, and you have people turning right on red lights going east on 1171. And they still have the same problem. And it's it's a half a block difference.
Okay, thank you.
And if they're walking, that's quite a distance. Some of them can barely walk anyway. But that's their only way to get to and from the grocery store particularly. Does that help any?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for
Councilman,
your...
I would point out that the signal does provide for pedestrian crossings and can be adjusted for those pedestrian crossings so that they don't conflict with turning movements. And I believe they actually did make some changes to that where Kumar is. They did actually make some changes to the timing of that signal.
So if the light says that they can walk across, if they have the safety of walking across without being hit by a...
The left turn is held back until there's a certain
left-hand
clearance.
turn, what about the right-hand turn?
They have to yield.
Well, the right-hand turn is
Right.
having the yield. Yeah, they're stopped for pedestrians.
So there's enough time from them to get from one side of the street to the other side of the street?
Well, it depends on how quickly one moves. I mean, there's not an infinite amount of time.
Could those signals be delayed a little bit? So
And that's what I was saying. I think they actually did make some alterations to that.
to allow them?
My point is that there is time allowed for pedestrian access across the street so that it doesn't conflict with that turning movement.
Any more questions for me?
I'm through.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. Kumar, did you want to speak to that signal issue?
I think the walking rate was adjusted. The normal recommended speed is 3.5 feet per second, according to the manual on uniform traffic control devices. I think Kevin said he actually made it even slower, like 2 foot per second. So it's almost, you can walk that distance much leisurely than what you could.
One more question for you, Kumar. It was suggested that there's a no U-turn allowed there. If there was no cars allowed to U-turn there, what would the nearest access be to get to the intersection going northbound?
You'd have to come down to Carnation and make that same U-turn again.
You'd have a U-turn then at Carnation.
There's a median opening across Carnation there, so it'll be the same effect. You just go further south and then make that turn.
Okay, thank you.
We also have a card filled out by John Nix. If you would, sir, just give your name and address for the record.
Well, I'm John Nixon. I live at 415 South Grand Ridge Boulevard in Evergreen. Now, I was here once before talking about this problem, and I know you people put a price on everything because everything does cost money these days, but so does life. You're going to wait till somebody gets killed in that intersection there, and then you're going to put a red light or something up there. Why wait when you can do it now? And I have a chair over there, but I can walk some, but I have a problem with breathing. I got COPD bad. But I can't put a price on that, but I still try to fight for my life. But there's a lot of people down there that are worse shape than I am. And why do you have to wait? And it's not just where I'm coming from right now. I've seen it many times in all cities, different places. You wait till somebody gets killed at an intersection. Then you go to the red light or some kind of protection for the people. Why do you wait for somebody to die to do anything? You people up there, you're not old like us. I know the last time I was here, some of you guys up there, I don't know, well, I'm like older than most all you. You're just a young kid of what we are. So it's up to you. You make the decision. You got the money in your pockets, wherever it's at. But the people there need to help. If nothing else, like Linda said, put an old left turn signal there, or light, or the sign. It's already, the post is there. It wasn't. You people, the last time I was here, you said it's going to cost money to put a post up. If it's going to cost you that much, I'll pay for the blasted post. Because it got to be there. Those people, you used to come out of that driveway, We have to wait because we don't know where those people are going to go. Where they're going to turn, they're going to go where we're at, they just go. And most of them are going to McDonald's. Well, if you're that hard up for a hamburger and you people that tight for the money, then I feel sorry for you. Thank you very much for your time.
Councilman Tierney?
I've got another question for staff, Kumar or Claude. There's been a couple mentions of a U-turn and no U-turn. There's a sign that's there that doesn't have a sign on it. Did that at one time used to be no U-turn at that location?
Used to be a suicide lane a long time ago.
I'm not aware of any sign that was
So
there.
right now, is it illegal to make a U-turn at that location?
Is it illegal now?
Yes.
No. I think it's legal to make a U-turn now.
Thank you. Certainly, I don't think that anybody up here is going to be making a dollar decision and putting somebody's life at risk. I know I'm not. I can't speak for the rest of the council, and if it's going to be a $7,000 or $13,000 sign that's going to be posted, and that's going to help the situation, I'm certainly going to be in favor of that. The research that's been conducted and what's been presented to me from people who are experts at this, I've been told that this crosswalk, if it's put in, is going to be more dangerous. It's going to put more people at risk. I think, and this is with all due respect, and I certainly do appreciate them, and I appreciate Evergreen coming before the council with their concerns. I think with the 250 turns that we're getting in one day and the pedestrian count of 10, that sticks out in my mind. One question that I have, and I think we've dealt with this down in some school zones in different areas, where we had people crossing the street in dangerous situations, putting themselves at risk. Crossing the street at locations that were not protected for pedestrian crossings, and this was with school children, they were putting themselves at risk when they just had to go down a little bit further and cross with a crossing guard and cross at a controlled pedestrian crossing. And I believe staff may help me with this. This was also on Garden Ridge, a little bit further north. And we had videos, and we had...
That was near the Valley Ridge Elementary School by Valley Ridge and Garden Ridge. The kids were walking from there in towards Huffines Middle School and between that big median that we have. That was north of Valley Park.
Has that been controlled?
I think so.
And
we haven't had any complaints on that.
What was done to control that?
Well, I think we were working with the school district to try to emphasize the need for the kids to cross at the right locations.
Is that actually illegal to cross at an uncontrolled?
Pedestrians? Not so sure if there's any law, but it's certainly not safe.
Jaywalking?
Is it jaywalking?
Yeah. I don't know that there's any.
Chief?
It is if there's not an unbroken...
Can't hear you.
It would be a violation if there's not an adjacent intersection they could cross at. You have to look at the nearest adjacent street. You're talking about that one by Valley Ridge and the elementary school. Technically, that probably would be because they have a street there that they could cross at the intersection nearby there.
So, I'm sorry. So it would be?
It would be in that case.
Okay, up by the school, but not here.
But not at this location.
Because the intersection's further away, is that?
I think what he's saying is that it's kind of a case-by-case thing, that it depends on the proximity of an adjacent or a nearby intersection to the location that you're crossing to. There's locations where, for example, streets might be a mile apart. Well, I don't think anyone's going to be ticketed for jaywalking if they cross that somewhere in between that mile. rather than have to walk all the way down a mile and then walk all the way back a mile. So I think there's some proximity issues. And again, I think the chief would probably have to examine that more closely to give you any kind of comparative review.
Okay. Again, so with what I've been presented by the experts stating that this is a safety concern, that to put this where it's being recommended is going to put more people at risk. What I would really like to see is people crossing, I would really hope to see that people would cross the road at the appropriate places where there is controlled pedestrian crossings, and not do so in such a dangerous manner. Thank you.
Councilman Thornhill?
Thank you. I was really amazed to learn that there's like 14,800 cars that travel this road, and I guess that's on a daily basis is what I understand. That's quite a lot of cars. I travel Garden Ridge every day practically, so I'm familiar with this intersection and this strip of the road. Here's what I'm concerned about is people traveling northbound on Garden Ridge have to come to a stop there at Fox, so they proceed north for them to get up to 40 miles an hour. It's safe to say that they'll probably be 40 miles an hour by the time they get to Evergreen. And I think they could get slowed down or stopped if there was a controlled crosswalk there. What concerns me, though, is the people coming southbound on Garden Ridge. And I think the lady mentioned, even though it's 40 miles an hour, they're probably going 45 or more. And if somebody's trying to beat the red light, they're probably going faster than that to get through that intersection there at Main and Garden Ridge. So here they come hauling down Garden Ridge, probably 50 miles an hour, and then you're going to ask them to slam on their brakes in 600 feet to come to a stop. And that really concerns me, is not only for the pedestrians, but for the motor vehicle itself, because then you could have rear-end collisions. I know where Garden or Evergreen is, and I can appreciate the residents wanting to have access to Tom Thumb. The survey indicated only 2 people in one day used that particular crosswalk. I am concerned about the 250 U-turns, though. And the 2 people that spoke produced their cases just really reinforced my thoughts of not putting anything there because there's a safety issue. You've got people who can walk across the street, but then you've also got people who need assistance getting across the street, whether it be another person assisting, whether it be a walker, or whether it be a motorized vehicle. You're still putting yourself in harm's way when you pull out in front of traffic that's coming down that road maybe 50 miles an hour on the southbound side. I would highly recommend that you use the controlled intersection. Looking at the map, the aerial map, you're talking maybe a half a block out of your way to save your life. I think you would want to do something like that and go up to the intersection, cross with a light, and then access Tom Thumb that way, rather than try to risk your life for convenience sake by going across there at the mid-street area. So I would have to go with staff's recommendation on this at this point, just because of your safety. Thank you.
Councilman Grenna?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. About at least 10 residents from Evergreen had contacted me last year about putting a crosswalk there, and I guess after the 5th or 6th one had come to me and asked me about it or called me on the phone, I went out there and I stood there, and I'm not unhealthy, I'm 48. I stood out there and I looked, cross the street here or walk all the way down to the stop sign. Well, frankly, I would cross the street there also. In fact, the study showed that only 2 from Evergreen went across that day, but 8 to 10 other people also crossed there also, because it's a natural crossing area. People from the south there. And I didn't spend 9 hours out there. I spent maybe an hour out there, standing out there with two of the residences one day. And we were just looking at people going by, joggers cross there. They just went across the street there. It just seems to be a natural cross. When I brought this up, I thought, before I start bringing this up, how do I feel about this? Well, even here across from City Hall, we don't walk down to the stop sign to cross that street. We cross the street right here, right in front of City Hall. And that's what people are going to do. I mean, we put signs up for ducks, deer, school children, people who ride bikes. And that's what I thought. Maybe we can get some, because all they asked me for was just some type of notification. And I heard this from all the people when I told them, it's not going to protect you. Yes, they understand that. They just want drivers to be a little more aware with a sign and some stripes that, hey, there's potentially somebody going to be crossing there. I didn't see any problem with a few yellow signs and some stripes to go across the road with paint. I was surprised that it was going to cost $2,000 for stripes. I mean, maybe it's special paint and labor's high, I guess, but if it costs that, I'm for it. I don't see a problem with it. I guess one of the solutions could be maybe stop signs there, or maybe cut into the median and put the left turn lane there where the daycare center is. That'd probably cut out all the U-turns at that location. But the fact is that you got a number of people there that do cross at that location. And, I mean, it would be like for me coming out of the front of City Hall here and walking all the way down to where Church starts to curve to come back to go over here to the Louisville Bank across the street. People aren't going to do that. And just to make it a little bit safer, I didn't see a problem with asking for some paint and some signs to say, hey, there's folks crossing here, pedestrian crossing or whatever. So that's why I asked staff to take it to, so what they could do with it. And I want to thank Mr. Nims and Mr. Kumar for all their studies. But sometimes we just have to say what's good. And I think paint and signs are going to be a good thing. It's kind of the same paradigm as you guys always talk about 85 percentile. It's 30 miles an hour, but people drive 35, so you raise it up to 35. Now they're going to start driving 40, and you raise it up to 40. Well, I can guarantee you that when I was standing out there, I don't think I saw very many people doing the speed limit. They were exceeding it by at least 10. Please do not raise it to 50. But that same paradigm that you use to change speed limits, I would like to apply it to people who are going to cross here. Let's make it a little safer for them. So I will be in favor for some type of intervention or some type of warning. It does not have to be $100,000. That's not what they're asking for. They're just asking for some signs, some yellow signs that say, hey, people cross here and stripes across. Now, I do like the idea of the just north of the red bricks there that you furrow through, and I think you gave a quote of $7,000 there to do all that work. A little more than I would have expected, but to me it's one of those things that it will be used, and so I'll be for it. Thank you. And no disrespect, I do appreciate your studies and everything, but this is just one of those times where you just look at it and say what's for the better good. So I'll be voting for it.
Mayor, I've got a question.
Sure.
If that's okay. Councilor Garina, if you were to cross City Hall from here to go to the bank, and it was dangerous, your life might be at risk to do so, would you take the few extra steps to the crosswalk?
Well, that's a relative question. I look at it as going all the way down to the distance.
If your life was at risk?
If my life was at risk, I would probably try to find a better way, but
that's all. Thank you.
All I'm saying is that that's not what people do. They look for an opening and they try to get across there.
Put their life at risk? Dangerous situation?
Every time I get behind a wheel, it's dangerous. For me.
And one more question. City Manager, we discussed in the workshop meeting the signs and the paint option, which was the cheapest option, $2,000, and I believe you had a comment on that option.
Well, staff's recommendation is that you not put any kind of a crossing in that median opening. The conflict with traffic, whether or not there's U-turn traffic
Is there
or
any
just left
option
turn.
that's better or worse?
If you're going to put a crossing there of any kind at mid-block, you need to move up the median to the north to preferably past the left turn bay to where it widens out and put it in that location. That's probably in the neighborhood of 150, 200 feet just by scaling it off on this, one of the drawings in your backup. If you want to put a crossing there, that would be a much more logical place and would be much better as far as the good is concerned of the safety of the pedestrian.
And that would be a paint,
crossing
the paint
in
and sign
conflict with
crossing that you're referring to?
Yeah, you'd have to build one of the things that drives the cost of it, you have to build ramps. Not just putting in a pedestrian crossing. You have to make sure there's ramps there for a pedestrian to pass.
We just can't put some special paint and a sign out?
No. Well, the signage and the crossing markers themselves, we use, I can't remember the terminology for it's not paint. Thermoplast. For the crossings markers themselves. And then, so those options there at that location would range from $7,000 to, I think, $13,000, depending on whether or not you had any kind of warning device, warning light. So that's where you'd have to put it, in our opinion, if you're going to do it at all.
The options that we looked at, I don't remember how many there were, quite a few of them. What would, in your opinion, be, the staff's opinion, be the worst option out of those options? Out of the ones that we looked at?
Putting it in the median.
Sorry?
Putting a crossing in that median opening.
Which was the couple $1,000s with some special paint and some signs.
Well, I assume that's the...
That's the option that we looked at, right? Okay, thank you.
Councilman Durham?
And only thinking about the residents there and their safety, and my opinion is only reinforced by the comments I heard from the two people that spoke, I'll be making a motion to deny their request. That's
Second.
I just want to comment just briefly, and then I'll call the vote. None of the discussion up here is really driven by the money. And if you leave here, you're totally justified in being, if this is denied and being disappointed, but don't walk out of here thinking that this has anything to do with what it's going to cost to put a crosswalk in there. Everybody up here, their concern is for your safety and balancing that with your convenience. If I thought that putting a crosswalk here would improve safety, if it's just a matter of painting stripes on the road, I'll stop on my way home. I drive down Garden Ridge to my house. I'll be glad to come out there and we'll save the $2,000. You can give me the paintbrush or whatever it is to put the crosswalk out there. But the fact is, when they did a 9-hour study, 250 people, you said it yourself, there's U-turns there all the time. Those U-turns aren't going to stop because there's a crosswalk there. And like Councilman Thornhill brought up, somebody trying to make it through a yellow light coming south on Garden Ridge and gunning it and getting it up to 45 or 50, then trying to stop within 600 feet because you're in that crosswalk, I don't see how this enhances safety. If anything, I think it makes it worse. You still have it's still your decision. It's still your right to cross there with or without stripes on the road. Everybody's responsible for their own actions, and you can make that decision based on anecdotal evidence or the evidence that you heard here, the stats that you heard here tonight. But I concur with the comments here that what sounds like the right thing, sometimes the facts just don't back it up. And you're obviously welcome to disagree with us, but I'll always choose what I think is best for the citizens, regardless of how popular that action is. So with that, I think we have a motion and a second on the floor. The motion is to deny the request by Councilman Durham and seconded by Councilman Thornhill. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion passed. Item 8 is consideration of variances to Louisville City Code, Section 11-11, permissible signs located in the Old Town Design District regarding a freestanding sign to be located on the frontage road of I-35 at 500 West Main Street, Section 11-10G, freestanding signs, subparagraph C, manner regulations for medical district, size not to exceed 100 square feet, requested by True Signs on behalf of Medical Center of Louisville. Medical Center of Louisville is requesting to erect a freestanding sign 26 feet in height with a display of 400 square feet. The sign would be allowed if it was outside the Old Town Design District and would be allowed in zoning districts other than medical, multifamily, or public use. Also, signage along the I-35 frontage is allowed to be 60 feet in height. Medical Center of Louisville is requesting 2 variances: to construct the freestanding sign in the Old Town Design District and to exceed the allowable display area of 100 square feet to 400 square feet. A major portion of the MCL frontage of I-35 is scheduled to be taken by the future I-35 expansion. The location of the sign is within the future right-of-way. MCL understands that the variances for the sign only apply up until such time as the property becomes state right-of-way. Staff recommendations that the council approve the requested variance as set forth in the caption above. I don't have any, oh yes I do, apologize. I do have one speaker card filled out, Rob DiBernardo, is that correct? I don't know if that's close enough. Would you like to speak, or are you here for questions? Or okay. Councilman Thornhill?
Thank you. I don't have any objection to this, and I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve with the requested variance.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Thornhill, second by Councilman Guerrero. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, consideration of a variance to Louisville City Code, Section 2-201, fee schedule regarding a waiver of the third-floor City Hall rental fees for the Southern Denton County Neighbor-to-Neighbor reception being held May 21st, 2010. Southern Denton County Neighbor-to-Neighbor reception is being held on May 21st from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Rental of the venue is $150 per hour plus a $500 deposit. They're requesting the rental fee for this event be waived. However, they will be submitting payment of the deposit and providing the required insurance. Council approved the fee waiver for the 08 and 09 receptions. The recommendations of the council approve waiving the rental fee as set forth in the caption above, but require the deposit and insurance. Councilman Gooden?
Make a motion to approve waiving the fee, and just as you read it in the caption there.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Guerrero, second by Councilman Durham. Is there anything to read on this one? There's not. It's just a vote, correct? Good. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, consideration of an ordinance extending the members' terms of office and existence of the Neighborhood Preservation Committee from 1 year to 2 years, or until such time as their final report is prepared, whichever occurs first. The Neighborhood Preservation Committee has been meeting to provide direction to council regarding residential neighborhoods. Items discussed include street parking, occupancy levels, current property codes, property maintenance, code enforcement, incentive strategies, etc. Additional time is needed to complete the committee's mission and develop recommendations for council. The staff recommendations that council approve the ordinance as outlined in the caption above. Councilman Durham?
If nobody has anything else, move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Durham, second by Councilman Guerrero.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Louisville, Texas, amending the committee existence and term of office for members of the Neighborhood Preservation Committee, providing a repealer, providing a severability clause, providing an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11, consideration of an ordinance amending Chapter 7, Article 10, Record Services of the Louisville City Code by repealing the current language in its entirety and replacing it with language providing for a contractual relationship for record services requested by the city. The city has entered into agreements with 2 record services to remove, at the city's request, vehicles which violate city ordinances and state law or which otherwise need to be removed to operate and maintain a vehicle storage facility and to provide for the disposition of unclaimed stored vehicles. Therefore, it's necessary to repeal the existing record services ordinance and replace the current language with language which provides that said services will now be provided to the city on a contractual basis. The staff's recommendations that the council adopt the ordinance. Councilman Tierney?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Tierney, seconded by Councilman Guerrero.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Louisville, Texas, amending the Louisville City Code, Chapter 7, Article 10, Wrecker Services, by repealing the current language in its entirety and replacing it with language providing for a contractual relationship for wrecker services requested by the city, providing for a repealer, providing for severability, providing a penalty, providing an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 12, consideration of an ordinance amending the Louisville City Code, Chapter 16, Article 8, discharge regulations of MS4 storm sewer system to provide provisions for additional best management practices. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, under the delegated authority from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, requires the City of Louisville to operate a municipal separate storm sewer, or MS4, in compliance with the Clean Water Act, the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System regulations, and Chapter 26 of the Texas Water Code. In 2008, the Stormwater Ordinance was adopted. Further modifications are now needed, which include provisions for additional best management practices. Staff recommendations that the Council approve the amendment of the Stormwater Ordinance as set forth in the caption above. Councilman Thornhill?
Unless there's an exception, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Thornhill, second by Councilman Durham.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Louisville, Texas, regulating the discharge of waste into the municipal separate storm sewer system and surface water within the City of Louisville, Texas, providing an approval system and mechanism to ensure compliance with state and federal regulations, providing a pollution control and abatement system, providing for enforcement, providing a system of charges for services rendered, providing a system of allowable and miscellaneous discharges, providing a severability clause, providing a repealer, providing a penalty, providing an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 13, consideration of ordinance amending the Louisville City Code, Chapter 2, Article 8, Section 2-201, fee schedule regarding rental fees at the Louisville Center for the Creative Arts. Louisville Center for the Creative Arts is now under construction with anticipated completion in December 2010. Staff is in the process of booking dates for use of the facility for the period January 1, 2011 through September 30th, 2011. It is therefore necessary that a schedule of rental fees be established for the Louisville Center for the Creative Arts. The recommendation is that Council approve the ordinance as set forth in the caption of the Councilman Grenna?
Make a motion to approve the fees and changing the ordinance as requested there.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Grenna, second by Councilman Durham.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Louisville, Texas, amending the Louisville City Code, Chapter 2, Article 8, Section 2-201, fee schedule by adding rental fees for the Louisville Center for the Creative Arts, providing a repealer, providing for severability, providing an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14, consideration of an ordinance amending the Louisville City Code, Section 15-35, maximum speed limits on specific streets, establishing the posted speed limit on Valley Ridge Boulevard from State Highway 121 Business to 3,860 feet south of State Highway 121 Business of 40 miles per hour. Construction on Valley Ridge Boulevard south of State Highway 121 Business has recently been completed. The roadway now connects from College Street to the newly opened Railroad Park at its southern extent. Staff has completed a speed study and determined the 85th percentile speed to be 44 miles an hour. In accordance with the Texas Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices and standard engineering practices, staff recommends posting the speed at 40 miles per hour. The Transportation Board, at their April 20th, 2010 meeting, voted unanimously to approve the recommendation of the City Council with a vote of 6-0. Recommendations that the Council approve the ordinance set forth in the caption above. Councilman Durham?
If no objection, I move to approve as set forth in the caption.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Durham, second by Councilman Grenna.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Louisville, Texas, amending Chapter 15, Section 15-35 of the Louisville City Code by establishing the speed limit on Valley Ridge Boulevard, providing a penalty clause, providing for severability, providing a repealer, providing an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 15, consideration of an ordinance amending the Louisville Code of Ordinances, Article 2, Chapter 15, Section 15-36.3, maximum speed limits for special school zone areas during summer months. The Louisville Independent School District has adjusted the hours for summer school classes. The district has added an additional release time during the afternoon for new programs being offered to the students. The district has requested the adjustments to the school speed zone hours of operation and the new Kilo LHS North campus be added for summer school use. On April 20th, 2010, the Transportation Board voted 5-0 with one abstention to approve the recommendation to the City Council to amend the ordinance adding the new hours of operation for the school speed zones. The recommendation is that Council approve the ordinance. Councilman Tierney?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Tierney, second by Councilman Guerrero.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Louisville, Texas, amending Article 2, Chapter 15, Section 15-36.3, maximum speed limits for special school zone areas during the summer months, providing a penalty clause, providing for severability, providing a repealer, providing an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mayor Pro Tem Watts, just wanted to emphasize here for the public, that's June, July, and August. It says the whole month for staff. Is that just when they're in session, or is it the whole month?
I'm not sure what you mean by just session.
It just says, what I'm looking at is here, just during the months.
During the summer months of June.
Yeah, but at some point in August, they're probably going to start the regular school year. I was trying to find a start date and an end
Actual
date.
date as opposed to the month.
Right.
Well, that's a good question. I'm not sure I can answer it. I know that what we do in the school, whenever the summer school stops and we're getting ready to start the new year, we replace the signage.
Okay.
So
I was just
they'll have
looking
new
for it.
signs when the summer school ends.
Sorry to bring it up earlier.
The ordinance itself says that it's during the hours such schools are open for special session.
Okay. That's good. Thank you.
So the signage will change when the hours change.
August 15th or something like that, we'll start changing them out.
I don't need to comment.
I called for those in favor, but I didn't call for any opposed. Motion passes. Motion carries. Item 16, consideration of a resolution nominating a representative to the North Central Texas Council of Governments Regional Transportation Council. The city currently holds a seat on the North Central Texas Council of Governments Regional Transportation Council. The city appointee to this position is Councilman Durham, who was reappointed in August of 2008. The appointee is required to be an elected official who serves on the governing body they represent. Membership on the RTC is either by direct membership or group representation. Currently, the cities of Louisville, Trophy Club, Roanoke, the Colony, and the town of Flower Mound share a seat on this council. The RTC's bylaws and operating procedures state that the person representing a group of several cities shall be selected by the mayors or county judges using a weighted vote of the maximum of the daytime or nighttime population of the cities counties represented. The recommendations that the council approve a resolution nominating a representative to the COG RTC. Councilman Durham has agreed to continue serving, and speaking with him and with Mayor Ukert, it's a recommendation that we renominate him. So we'll consider a motion. We'd also like whoever makes that motion to consider that we'll support the Colony's nominee for the alternate. So whoever makes the motion, if you could mention that.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we, first I want to thank Councilman Durham for his past service on this board. It sure takes a lot of time out of his time as far as traffic and participating in the meetings and what have you, and he's done it year after year, so we appreciate all your service, and we appreciate you also wanting to continue to do this. So I'll go ahead and make a motion that we nominate Councilman Durham to be reappointed. And also would like to nominate or support the Colony's nomination on this board, too. So with that, I'll make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Thornhill.
Second.
Second by Councilman Tierney. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Just a clarification regarding the motion, the Colony's nomination regarding the alternate is what you...
It was for the alternate, yes.
All right.
Item 17, consideration of a resolution nominating a representative to North Central Texas Council of Governments Clean Air Steering Committee. The North Central Texas Council of Government plans to reactivate the Clean Air Steering Committee in June of this year. They're seeking nominations to fill 6 elected officials representing city government positions. The committee will be established to recommend strategies to attain and maintain state and federal air quality standards in North Central Texas. The recommendations that the council approve a resolution nominating a representative to the North Central Texas Council of Governments Clean Air Steering Committee. I spoke with Mayor Ukert before he had to leave, and he actually asked me if I would consider serving on this, and I'm happy to do so. With my day job, I have some responsibilities as it entails one of their subcommittees for this is clean construction. So I have a little bit of probably just enough knowledge to get myself in trouble, but I did agree to serve if asked to. So I'll put that up for consideration.
I'll make a motion to have Mr. Watts nominated for this position.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Grinnett, seconded by Councilman Durham. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for your volunteering, sir. Appreciate it.
Motion carries. Item number 18, a tabled item, appointment of chairperson to the Ad Hoc I-35 Corridor Plan Advisory Committee. At the May 3rd, 2010 meeting, City Council tabled the appointment of the chairperson for the Ad Hoc Committee to allow additional time to consider this appointment and recommendations that we appoint the chairperson. Speaking with Mayor Ukert, and he contacted the folks we recommended for the committee, and seems to be consensus is formed around Jeff Peltier. Jeff did a great job chairing our Charter Review Committee, and I think he would make an excellent chairman of this committee as well, so I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Durham, second by Councilman Tierney, I think, beat you to the punch. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Which brings us to reports. The corporate investment report was included in our packet. Nika? I'm just going to go down the line here. If anybody has something to report. Chief, you had a very nice event out here.
I'm very pleased to announce that the third annual Keeping Tradition Alive Pipes, Drums, and Honor Guard Symposium was a huge success with folks attending from all over the country. The classes were incredible. The nighttime sessions were great as well. And Chief Terry McGrath and Jennifer Galante and her staff with James did an incredible job putting that all together. As well, we have two other events going on this week. We're also hosting the National Honor Guard Academy all week. 40 students from all over the country. You'll see them out at 6 in the morning doing PT at the high school and at various locations. And then starting towards the end of this week, we're hosting the LAFs. That's the Life and Fire Safety Group, the clowns from our Public Education Division. We're hosting that state conference as well this week.
Very good. I was lucky enough to get to come out and enjoy that. It was a great event. I had my youngest daughter with me, and she very much enjoyed the men wearing quilts and playing the bad pipes. So I quickly corrected her, and she's now all up to date on what was going on out there. But she had a great time. I had a great time. It was a great event. Looking forward to it, continuing to grow and bring a lot of people to the city. Good event. Anybody? Bueller? Councilman Durham?
I just wanted to congratulate again the water treatment plant. I want to congratulate the staff and the management and all the staff goes there. But that is a great honor when folks from Austin come up. It's also setting a real high standard to me all the time now. So just keep it up. Thank you.
Councilman?
I just want to remind everybody that Keep Louisville Beautiful is going to have their third fundraiser. It's at the golf tournament this next Friday, May 21st. It starts at 5 p.m. and tee off at 6:30, and it's $20 a person or $60 for a group of four, which makes it $15 a person. So if you want to come out and have some fun and for good cause, the funds will go to all the city projects like the trash pickups and the sponsoring of the areas where people put flowers and stuff, Adopt a Spot, and so forth. So that's the miniature golf tournament with the Keep Louisville Beautiful this coming Friday night. Go to keeplouisvillebeautiful.org, and under the events, look for that, and you can get the flyer and the form to sign up. Thank you.
That is a mini golf tournament.
Well, that's the only way I play.
Yeah, so. Team Watts will be out there.
Miniature golf.
Councilman Thornhill?
I just want to say, Claude, I appreciate you and your staff that's going to be, I guess you're going to be meeting with the technical advisor this week on the oil and gas?
The oil and gas, yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could attend that, but I can't. But hopefully y'all can take a look at the suggestions that have come across and maybe report back to the council. I'm really concerned that we have everything in place that we have that's proper as this permitting process starts up, and I don't want to have something go out that we could have taken care of before. So maybe if y'all could report back to council and let us discuss it or have a discussion on it, I'd appreciate it. Other than that, that's all I got.
Councilman Cheney?
Big thank you to Chief Lasky, and a great job. Well done with the Pipes and Drum Symposium. Just outstanding seeing those guys out here, and thankfully the rain held off just in time. That weather forecast didn't look good for a minute, and it held off long enough, so it was a great event. Good job.
Liz? Julie? I will echo what's been said here, especially about the water department. That is an incredible achievement, especially for 5 consecutive years. And it's something that doesn't go as noticed enough as it should. You got hardworking people there, and they're doing a great job. Won't repeat what's been said about the pipes and drums. It was a great event. One thing that I would like to mention that you may or may not hear about is that we have a great staff in all departments, and we do a lot. I think we do a lot with a little around here. We do a very good job managing the taxpayers' money, and our city manager does a very good job, and his staff, and our bond rating is now reflecting that. It's been upgraded to AA+, which if you look around cities around the country, there are cities threatening to declare bankruptcy. There are cities losing their bond ratings. There are states in far, far worse shape, and our rating's actually going up. So we want to commend everybody involved and everything that goes into that. We're doing a good job, and keep it up. And I understand we have a birthday today.
Yes, we do.
Judging by the grimace on our judge's face, I'm going to guess that today is Judge Holman's birthday, and it's a significant one, I hear. Yeah. Which anniversary of your 30th birthday is it? So if you get time, I'm not going to make anybody sing, but if you get time, go by and wish the judge a happy birthday. I'm not going to say that it might affect your case the next time you're in front of him, but you never know. I'll leave that to him and the Judicial Ethics Commission panel.
He's impartial.
If nothing else, in accordance with Texas Government Code, Subchapter D, Section 551.072, Real Estate Property Acquisition, Section 551.087, Economic Development, deliberation regarding economic development negotiations, now convene into closed session.
appreciate my job so much more when they tell me that.
Call us back in regular session. Council, is there any business to be done?
Nope.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion by Councilman Grina, second by Councilman Durham. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.
Good night.